So I want to show you the way that I like to cut up an onion. Cut the end off. I'm going to cut it in half this way. And that way it's much easier to find an edge and peel back this outer peel, which I'll use in stocks if there's no mold on it or anything like that. Sometimes I'll even take this one off because it can get really slippery. So this one I'll use for stocks, and that way your knife won't slip on it. And then you've got the core end over to your non-dominant side here. And I take my knife, my hand's flat. I see a lot of people cutting onions this way, but you can cut yourself that way. So I'm gonna use my flat hand and make horizontal cuts this way. And I'm gonna rock the knife without going through the core. And I'm gonna be making equal cuts up the onion this way. So, and then the whole time not going through that core. And then I'm gonna turn the knife, and then you wanna like hike your shoulder up a little bit and point the knife down. A lot of people will do this, and then you'll cut through the core, it'll all fall apart. So point your shoulder up a little bit, and you're gonna go down into the onion, and then you're gonna turn it this final last way. And same size, so I've been going kind of quarter inch, or actually about a half inch, and then you want to continue the same size. So half-inch cuts this way. Okay, when you do that, you're going to have all the onions be the same size. And you have your core piece here, which I put into a freezer bag and keep for stock. And you notice I'm not crying, and it's not because I'm immune to crying from cutting so many onions in my career. It's actually because a lot of people, when they cut onions, will just cut them into irregular sizes and then be like, well, the recipe said small dice or a medium dice, or, you know, I need to chop it smaller. So then they keep going at it with a knife, and then what you're doing is you're breaking down the cell walls and releasing the sulfur dioxide, which makes you cry. So this will help you. Or you can kind of look like an idiot and wear like swim goggles. That's good too. Okay, I'm also going to show you how to cut an onion a different way. So we're going to take this peel off again. And this time, we're going to cut a V-cut and cut the core out right there. So we're popping that core out. That kind of holds the onion together. We're going to be caramelizing some onions in a different video, and I'm going to link to that below. But I'm going to cut half moons. When you cut half moons this way with the grain of the onion, they're going to stay together during the cooking process, so you have nice strands of caramelized onion. If instead you wanted to have the onions sort of break down into kind of more like a paste of caramelized onions, then you'd want to cut them across the grain, and then they tend to break down much more quickly. But I want you to be able to see the onions at the end. So I'm gonna put my fingers like this. Little knife skill thing here. You want to always choke up on your knife. A lot of beginners don't. They hold their knife like this far back. So you want to actually choke up on the knife, bring your fingers back in a claw shape like this to protect your fingers. And we're going to make angled cuts, and I'll start off slow, going around the onion to do a half moon. And you always, the theory when you're cutting for safety is you always want to be cutting on a stable, flat surface. As soon as we get to the point where this onion gets tippy like this, I'm going to move these onions out of the way and then flatten it to the other side so that we have a stable area to cut on. Okay, it just started moving again, and so at that point, I take out this middle part, put it to the side, flatten this, and finish the cutting. Okay, this one you can throw in your stock pot, or you can continue to flatten them and cut them to make them even. So now we have onions cut two different ways. One for caramelizing so that they'll keep their shape, and one that's going to be used probably in a stew or a rice dish or something like that later. So those are my tips for how to cut an onion. Oh, we're filming. Thanks for watching my videos. My name's Becky Selengut. I really appreciate you hanging out here with me for a little while. Feel free to check out my website at www.beckyselengut.com, or either of my cookbooks I've written, Good Fish and Shroom, and I'm working on a new one called How to Taste. And what else can I tell you? If you liked any of the silly dad humor or humor in any of my videos, feel free to check out my comedy podcast, Look Inside This Book Club, and take a look at all the other videos that I have on my channel. Thanks so much. Cheers.